Hey friends, today I'm going to share with you how trail made me grateful for just about everything in my life. I'm going to start with, when you're on trail, you have to carry all of your weight. Everything that you want with you at any point, you need it with you. On your back. And that's a lot of weight. If you want any extra comfort, if you want extra water, if you want extra food, you got to carry it all, and it is a lot of work. Number one, let's see, you don't have a kitchen. You have your little stove. There's not much that you do have besides your stove, your fuel canister, and what I would bring is a spatula, because that made things so much easier to clean. A little tiny, just the head of the spatula, but it really sucks to clean when it's really cold and all you have is the cold stream or the cold filtered water that you have, and it's like, wow, I don't want to put my hands in this cold water right before bed and then get in my bed and be cold and have to like warm up my arms and my feet, and wow, it's a struggle. So right then already, we don't have a kitchen, we don't have a sink, you don't have running water, you don't have hot water, you don't have anything out there. And so it makes you realize just how incredibly spoiled all of society is. And we take it for granted all of the time. You know, another thing, we have to hike everywhere we want to go. We don't have a bike, we don't have a car. You have to use your feet everywhere you go with however much weight you have on your back. I started with 60 pounds and at the very end, I only had 30. That's a huge difference from 15 to 20 miles a day with a 60-pound pack to 30 miles a day with a 30-pound pack. Makes a huge difference, but it also makes you very, very grateful when you come back into society. It's actually a huge culture shock. Every time you go into town, it's another culture shock. You go into town, you go into the grocery store, and you're just like, oh my gosh, food everywhere. And you're out there and you have to be really strategic about what you eat when you're out there too. You eat first the heaviest foods, but then secondly, do you want to keep sweets for once a day, twice a day, at the end of trail, right before you go back into town? There's all different kinds of ways that you can do it. And when you go into town, you're like, oh my gosh, look at all that sugar. Woo! First off, and secondly, look at the cheese and all this other stuff, and you're like, do I have the money to afford it right now? Do I want to get that cheese? Do I want to get that ice cream? Whatever it is. If we don't have ice cream out there, that's another thing. Like, oh my gosh, just a fridge in general or a freezer. You can't store food. I did mention storing butter, but I mean, that's okay to go to room temperature and back, but you can't store ice cream, you can't store ice cubes. So it makes you really, really grateful for that. When I came back into society, I was happy to do dishes because I was like, wow, this is easy, this is fast, I don't have to be cold, and it makes you a better person to go out on trail, to be honest, because you aren't as spoiled. You have to put, like I said, the hard work in to live life, and it makes you realize that you want to put the hard work in so that you have the reward afterwards, and it's a quality reward. It's not a half-assed reward. Food prepping, you can't really food prep too much. You can't prepare a soup for the whole week and carry it with you. You don't have an actual stove with 4 burners and an oven so you can do like whole masterful cooking. No, it's, let's see the tuna that's already cooked and the tortilla that's already baked and all of this. So it's, yeah, you really become grateful when you start realizing all the little amenities that you're giving up going out there. You don't have an AC and you don't have heaters. So that means your sleep system better be warm and it better be top notch, because if you aren't getting quality sleep, you aren't hiking very quality, and you're just waking up, you're tossing and turning, you're cold. Maybe you start hiking in the middle of the night because you're so cold or wet or whatever it is. So there again, we don't have a roof over our heads, we have a tent that sometimes condensates, and I like to cowboy camp. My first year on trail, I cowboy camped 90% of the time, and I loved it. But sometimes I would wake up at 5 a.m. and start hiking because I'm completely soaked. And also, nobody likes to put away a wet sleeping bag or a wet tent, but also nobody likes to wake up with their sleeping bag right here and it be completely soaked and now your face is all wet, and it's just makes you really appreciative of what we have in society. We have a bed. You don't have to carry your bed. Your bed is already made. You don't have to put your bed away and put it back out every single day. Although I hear studies say that if you do that, you're more successful in life. So again, putting in the hard work up front really makes the difference. Oh, you don't even have chairs out there. You have like logs and rocks, but the logs are all, you know, not comfortable, and the rocks are never flat. And so you either sit on the ground, you have your little sit pad, but sitting on the ground is really healthy too. So really, everything about trail makes you so appreciative and extremely grateful of everything that we have in society. We have cars, we have bikes, we have AC, we have heaters, we have kitchens, we have running water, hot water, cold water. Everything is at our disposal, at our fingertips. Now we even have phones. We don't even have service out there sometimes, so then there's that as well. You get really grateful when you have service. I remember once I was on trail my first year. I'd been hiking alone for a few days, and it wasn't necessarily lonely, but I wanted to check in with my parents and see where they were. And I was on a ridge line, and I wanted to share with them the view just because of how beautiful it really was. And I FaceTime them. The service isn't the greatest, but they get to see the view a little bit. And then we had to go to phone call because the service was so bad. But just in that moment, I was so grateful for my parents, because without them, I wouldn't be able to be on trail either. I was able to move back home 6 months before, gather my money, go out on trail, and I prepared all of my boxes with prepared food before I left trail. So I left them open, so if I wanted anything extra, like maybe I needed more duct tape, or I need, you know, some more thread, or hey, let's throw in some seasonal veggies, all of that. I was so grateful for my parents, because on a dime, I would say, hey mom, I really need you to send this out. I'm gonna be here in 3 days. Can you please send it out so that I can have it when I'm there and I don't have to wait in town? So there was a huge part of my journey that I can give them credit for, because they really, really helped me succeed. And I was just, in that moment after I'd called them, I don't think I'd ever felt the feeling of being truly grateful before, and in that moment I did, and it brought tears to my eyes, and I couldn't believe that I never felt that before, like truly felt grateful. Yeah, thank you for this, thank you for that, but it was just such a deep-rooted thankfulness, and I don't think a lot of people get to experience that, and I really feel so fortunate to be able to have felt that, because now I know, you know, I am really grateful for certain things, and I am really grateful for others. But this is why I advocate for people to go on trail, or maybe meditate, or get away from society, because it really, really hones in the feeling of gratefulness, and it really hones in wanting to give back, because you're just so grateful, you want to give whatever you can to show your appreciation. With that being said, that's all I have for you guys today. Please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you on the next video. Namaste, have a beautiful day.